The Newsline.
Hello and welcome back to Newsline, brought to you by People's TV. The Middle East is witnessing changes unseen just a few decades ago. A distinct and unprecedented sequence of events is now unfolding across the region. Global news reports point to multiple developments signaling a deep and far-reaching transformation in Middle Eastern geopolitics. Israel is unarguably the most powerful nation in the Middle East. It possesses the strongest military capabilities, along with advanced economic, engineering, and medical sectors in the region. Despite its small geographic size, Israel has emerged as a decisive strategic factor in Middle Eastern affairs. This reality remains unacceptable to several surrounding states shaped by colonial legacies and extremist Islamist ideologies. Whether Egypt, Turkey, or Qatar, often accused of playing a double role on the international stage, these actors operate within political frameworks influenced by radical Islamic principles. Their long-term objective, openly or implicitly, remains the elimination of the State of Israel and the destruction of Jewish sovereignty. Public diplomacy may suggest cooperation, neutrality, or even division on secondary political matters. However, regarding Israel's existence, a shared underlying objective persists. The destruction of Israel remains the common denominator that binds these otherwise divided actors. Every nation operates with a clear purpose and strategic objective. China, for example, seeks regional and global superiority in space capabilities and military strength. The nations mentioned earlier, however, are driven primarily by Islamic ideology, an ideology that has elevated the destruction of Israel from a political objective to a central mission. Egypt offers a clear example. Cairo has moved to purchase a specialized array of WJ-700 drones from China. The unmanned WJ-700 is powered by a turbojet engine, enabling attack speeds of up to 700 km per hour, comparable to that of a fighter jet. This capability places it well above the cruise speed of most medium-altitude, long-endurance drones currently in service worldwide. The deal is reportedly valued at $700 million, signaling a serious upgrade in Egypt's strike capabilities. Turkey, meanwhile, continues to aggressively strengthen its military wing, expanding drone warfare, missile development, and regional power projection. These developments point to a broader pattern of militarization driven by ideological alignment rather than conventional national defense priorities. We report these developments on our channel because such military preparations by Israel's adversaries are clear indicators of intent directed at the Jewish state. Historically, Egypt, Turkey, and Syria have repeatedly stood at the forefront of opposition to Israel, a hostility that traces back centuries. Today, history appears to be repeating itself, with Syria and Turkey once again aligning against Israel. Countries such as Egypt and Turkey seek to project the image of stable and even cooperative relations with Israel. Egypt, for instance, has signed gas agreements worth millions of dollars, presenting itself as a regional partner. This posture, however, is driven less by genuine reconciliation and more by fear of U.S. retaliation and international consequences. Beneath the diplomatic surface, hostility remains intact. Given the slightest strategic opportunity and the removal of external pressure, these nations would not hesitate to turn against Israel and pursue direct confrontation. Speaking further on drone developments, Ahmed al-Shara visited several arms-producing factories in Syria yesterday. This marks a surprising shift, as Syria was previously nowhere near domestic weapons manufacturing. Most of its fighter jet fleet was destroyed by Israel, and even during the Assad era there was no visible push toward indigenous weapons development. The United States, Europe, and Israel had hoped that al-Shara's rise to power would result in the elimination of terrorist factions and Iranian proxy forces operating inside Syria. Those expectations were rooted in the belief that Syria would move away from militarization and external ideological influence. Unfortunately, while Syria appears to have loosened Iran's grip, it is now forging closer relationships with other adversaries of Israel, most notably Turkey. This realignment raises serious concerns, as it suggests that Syria is not moving toward stability or neutrality, but rather repositioning itself within a hostile axis that continues to challenge Israel's security. Speaking further on Turkey, Benjamin Netanyahu warned the Erdogan administration not to even dream of rebuilding its ancient empire, stating clearly that Israel will not allow it. This remark was not made in isolation or without reason. It reflects growing concerns over Turkey's expanding ambitions and its increasingly aggressive posture in the region. From the very beginning, People's TV has warned that Turkey would pose an unprecedented threat to Israel. Developments unfolding today only reinforce that assessment. Ankara's ideological positioning, Military expansion and alignment with hostile actors indicate a long-term strategic vision that directly challenges Israel's security. Netanyahu's warning serves as a direct response to this reality and a signal that Israel is fully aware of Turkey's intentions and prepared to counter them. Speaking of al-Shar's Syria once again, the country has taken a significant step in the field of arms manufacturing. Syria is now producing drones, tanks, armored personnel carriers, robots, and artillery systems. What al-Shar reportedly went to observe was far more concerning than individual weapons platforms. It was an automated system designed to integrate all of these assets into a single centralized command structure, most likely driven by advanced software and battlefield management technology. This points to a shift from fragmented capabilities to coordinated, network-centric warfare. Such integration dramatically enhances combat effectiveness, situational awareness, and response speed. What we are witnessing is Israel's enemy nations growing stronger, more organized, and more technologically capable right under its nose. These are not defensive developments. They are calculated steps toward building modern, offensive military capabilities aimed at reshaping the regional balance of power. Turning our attention to Iran, we have already reported that Tehran is actively developing its ICBM stockpiles with the explicit objective of targeting Israel. Israel retains the capability to neutralize these assets at any given time, largely because there are no diplomatic relations whatsoever between Jerusalem and Tehran. This absence of formal ties removes many of the political constraints that usually limit direct military action. The situation is far more complex with other countries in the region. In the cases of Syria, Turkey, and Egypt, Israel cannot make unilateral decisions to carry out direct strikes. The United States stands between Israel and these nations as a political and strategic barrier, restricting Israel's freedom of action. Israel fully understands the threats posed by Syria's rearmament, Turkey's ambitions, and Egypt's military buildup. However, under current geopolitical realities, Israel remains unable to respond in a decisive and convincing manner without triggering broader diplomatic and strategic consequences. If this report helped you see the situation on the ground clearly, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe to People's TV, where truth has no agenda, and facts speak louder than spin.
Subscribe us for more details.